Hello everyone, welcome back our channel Legends Voice. Today video title is GNGSKAN From Birth to Death. The man who changed the world. Intro. The man who shook the earth. He was born with nothing, no kingdom, no army, no protection. Yet before his death, he would rule the largest land empire in human history, more than Rome, more than Alexander, more than Napoleon. Some call him a barbarian. Others call him a genius. History remembers him as unstoppable. This is not just the story of conquest. This is the story of survival, of betrayal, of pain, and of a man who turned suffering into power. This is the life story of Genghis Khan. Chapter 1. A child born into hardship. Genghis Khan was born around 1162 on the harsh Mongolian steppe. His birth name was Temujin. Legend says he was born clutching a blood clot in his fist, a sign. The elders whispered that this child would one day rule with iron will. His father, Yasuge, was a tribal leader, not a king, not rich, just respected. Temujin's childhood was not one of comfort, but of cold winds, endless grasslands, and survival. From a young age, he learned how to ride before he could walk, how to hunt before he could read faces, how to endure hunger without complaint, but fate was already preparing him for cruelty. Chapter 2. Betrayal and Abandonment. When Temujin was just 9 years old, his father was poisoned by enemies. Everything changed. Without Yasuge, Temujin's tribe abandoned his family. His mother, Hoylan, was left alone with her children, surrounded by enemies, starvation, and fear. They were cast out like animals. No protection, no horses, no allies. They survived on roots, small animals, frozen scraps. Hunger became a daily companion. At one point, Temujin killed his own half-brother during a fight over food, not out of hatred, but because survival allowed no weakness. This was the moment Temujin learned a brutal truth. The world does not reward kindness, it rewards strength. Chapter 3. A Slave in Chains. As a teenager, Temujin was captured by a rival tribe. They placed a wooden collar around his neck, a symbol of humiliation and control. He was treated as a slave, beaten, mocked, displayed. But even in chains, Temujin observed. He studied human behavior, who feared authority, who respected strength, who could be trusted. One night, he escaped. A single family chose to hide him, risking their lives. Temujin never forgot this. Years later, he would reward loyalty more than blood. This belief would change history. Chapter 4. Friendship and Betrayal. As Temujin grew stronger, he formed a deep bond with a young warrior named Jamukha. They swore brotherhood. Together they dreamed of uniting the Mongol tribes. But ambition destroys brotherhood. Jamukha believed leadership belonged to nobility. Temujin believed leadership belonged to ability. Their friendship turned into rivalry. Rivalry turned into war. Jamukha had numbers. Temujin had loyalty. This conflict would define Temujin's rise. Chapter 5. The Making of a Leader. Temujin did something revolutionary. He broke tribal traditions. Instead of promoting men by family name, he promoted them by skill and loyalty. A shepherd could become a general. A former enemy could become a brother. This was unheard of. Slowly, warriors gathered around him, not because of fear, but because he kept his promises. Battle by battle, Temujin defeated rival clans, not through brute force alone, but through strategy, speed, and intelligence. He rewarded loyalty generously. He punished betrayal mercilessly. The Mongol tribes began to unite. Chapter 6. The Birth of Genghis Khan. In 1206, the unthinkable happened. The Mongol tribes gathered. They declared Temujin their supreme ruler. They gave him a new title, Genghis Khan, universal ruler. This was not just a crown, it was a revolution. For the first time in history, the Mongols were united under one leader, one law, one vision. But Genghis Khan was not satisfied. He looked beyond the steppe, and the world trembled. Chapter 7. Laws, Discipline, and Order. Before conquest, Genghis Khan built order. He introduced the Yasa. It demanded absolute loyalty, religious freedom, discipline in war, protection of messengers. He outlawed theft, betrayal, and tribal revenge. The army became a machine, fast, organized, merciless. Europe and Asia had never seen anything like it. Midpoint pause. The storm is coming. By now, Genghis Khan controlled Mongolia, but his true legacy had not yet begun. To the south, rich empires stood unprepared. To the west, civilization slept behind walls. Genghis Khan turned his horse toward the horizon, and history crossed a point of no return. Chapter 8. The First Great Conquests. Once the Mongol tribes were united, Genghis Khan turned his gaze outward. To the south lay northern China, ruled by the Jin dynasty, rich, fortified, confident. They believed walls could stop nomads. They were wrong. Genghis Khan did not attack like traditional armies. He divided his forces, moved faster than messengers, struck where least expected. Mongol horsemen appeared like ghosts, then vanished before counterattacks could form. Cities fell one by one, not because of numbers, but because of fear, speed, and precision. By 1215, Beijing fell. The world had witnessed something new, a nomadic army defeating ancient civilizations. Chapter 9. The Message That Changed Everything. Genghis Khan did not seek endless war. He sent messengers to the Khwarezmian Empire, one of the richest empires in Central Asia. His message was simple: let us trade, let us live in peace. The Shah of Khwarezm made a fatal mistake. He executed the Mongol envoys. In Mongol law, this was unforgivable. Genghis Khan did not rage. He became silent. Then he said, I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me. Began Chapter 10. The Destruction of an Empire. The Mongol army invaded with terrifying coordination. Cities that resisted were erased, not out of cruelty alone, but to send a message. Those who surrendered lived. Those who resisted vanished. Samarkand, Bukhara, Urgench, once great cities, turned into ruins. Historians estimate millions died, but there was method in the madness. Genghis Khan protected scholars, saved engineers, preserved trade routes. He destroyed resistance, but preserved knowledge. The Silk Road became safer than ever. Trade flourished. The world became connected. Chapter 11. The Secret of Mongolar. Genghis Khan's greatest weapon was not violence. It was organization. His army was built on merit, not blood, discipline, not emotion, intelligence, not brute force. He created spy networks across continents, signal systems using fire and smoke, psychological warfare tactics. He allowed religious freedom. Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, all were protected as long as they obeyed Mongol law. This made conquered peoples cooperate, not rebel. Empires fell, but civilization continued. Chapter 12. A father, not just a conqueror. Despite his reputation, Genghis Khan was deeply concerned with legacy. He trained his sons, Joki, Chagatai, Ogedai, Tolui. Each had strengths, each had flaws. He knew the empire would tear itself apart without order, so he planned succession carefully. He did not want chaos. He wanted continuity. Chapter 13. The Final Campaign. In his later years, Genghis Khan turned toward the western Xia kingdom. Despite his age, he still rode with the army, still planned battles, still inspired fear. During this campaign, he was injured, some say from a fall, others say illness. He knew his time was ending, but even in death, he planned. Chapter 14. The Death of Genghis Khan. In 1227, Genghis Khan died. The cause remains a mystery. What followed was even more mysterious. His death was kept secret. His burial place was hidden. Anyone who saw the funeral procession was killed. Even today, no one knows where Genghis Khan is buried. He vanished, as if the earth itself swallowed him. Chapter 15. The World After Genghis Khan. After his death, his empire expanded even further. His sons and grandsons ruled China, Persia, Russia, Eastern Europe. The Mongol Empire became the largest continuous empire ever. Modern studies show around 16 million men today share his DNA. Global trade accelerated. East and West became connected. He reshaped borders, cultures, and history. Final, how should we remember him? Was Genghis Khan a monster or a misunderstood genius? The answer is uncomfortable. He was both. He destroyed cities and connected civilizations. He killed millions and ended centuries of isolation. He was not born great, he was forged by suffering. From an abandoned child to the ruler of the world, history does not ask us to admire him. It asks us to understand him. Because the modern world, its borders, trade, and power structures still echo his footsteps. This was the life of Genghis Khan, the man who changed the world forever. Thanks for watching.